Hello?
Hello.
Hi. How's it
Hi.
going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Um, yeah, I'm outside today. How about you? What's the weather like, Emily?
Um, Let me check.
I usually do it inside in one of my bedrooms just because it's the only time I can get around and have peace and quiet.
Yeah, it's 73 here.
There you go. So where is here? But first of all, Emily, welcome.
Hi. Yeah, I live in Indianapolis, so
Okay, cool. Whereabouts in Indianapolis are you?
like the southwest side.
Southwest side. What's the town?
It's called Canby. It's a
Oh,
small
very
little
cool.
town.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. And so, what are you? What's going on this week? And I guess everything is sort of starting to open up since I knew you were about to go back to work. We have a visitor.
Yeah, my
You were going
cat.
back to work next week or this week, but it didn't happen. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
so I was supposed to start a new job,
yeah,
but because of like hiring restrictions, they couldn't hire. They had to push it back a week.
right,
So
right,
I did an interview with the district manager yesterday, and so I should be starting next week instead.
awesome. And is that something you are you still in school? Are you out of school?
Yes, so I'm going to be a junior in college this fall.
Okay, awesome. And what are you taking?
I'm studying marketing, and I have a minor in psychology and then digital media.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hire you to do my Instagram page from here on in. That's fantastic. And so, so how are you as far as safety and all that goes? You guys are all good, and everything's kind of good there. Back to normal.
Yeah, so I'm currently living at home with my mom.
Yeah,
So she's working from home. She hasn't worked since March, and I've just been here since March as well.
awesome. So tell me a bit about yourself. Are you born and raised in Indianapolis, or is this a new town for you?
So I was born in California, where my mom lived there for 15
Awesome,
years, but she's from Indiana. So a few months after I was born, we moved back to be around family, and I've been here ever since.
awesome. How long ago was that?
Um, that was like 2000.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
awesome. Look at this thing. My umbrella is falling all over the place. This is fantastic. I have it circulating. Awesome. And so, yeah, I'm curious to know. I want to get right into it with some photography stuff and some of your hobbies and stuff like that. But before we do all that, you've been working with Jason and Caitlin for seems to be more than just one or two times, maybe two
Yeah,
times.
I met them last summer, I want to say, after
Okay.
my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
It's actually an interesting story about how they met me.
Let's hear it.
So I worked at a store called Charming Charlie, and it was an outdoor store.
Yeah.
And so it was a weekend day, and I was working outside. We had this like wheel you could spin
Yeah.
to get like a coupon. And Jason and Kat walked by, and they spun the wheel, and they went in the store looking for like accessories for like their photography. And they got to talking to me, and obviously they saw that I was a redhead, and they gave
Right.
me their card. And so I followed them on Instagram, and then I messaged, and I ended up doing a photo shoot with them a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they met me at the
That's
mall.
fantastic. And so, they do really interesting stuff. And I know that I'll talk about them quite a bit because a lot of the people that I'm going to do interviews with have at some point passed by them or had worked with them as well. So it's really interesting to get everyone else's take on it. But I was super excited when I first met up with them online as well because I've been looking for a photographer to photograph redheads for our company, and it just kind of like this magical thing happened, and all of a sudden, we were in talk, and it just managed to morph itself into a partnership, which I was really really excited about. But take me through how the session went with the authentic ginger clothing stuff. So when you first were asked about that scenario, and they said, hey, look, would you mind coming in? Did you know we existed at that point, or is it something you learned during the whole process?
It was something I learned.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys existed, and I thought it was really cool, like a really cool idea.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've always wanted like a redhead T-shirt, but I've never been able to find one.
right. And that's really interesting. And so when you, I mean, obviously you were born with red hair. So as you're going through your teens and stuff like that in school, like how was it for you to be a redhead? Like, tell me how that all went down, and any stories you might have.
Yeah, so actually, I'm the only redhead in my family besides my uncle. So my mom is
Unicorn.
strawberry blonde,
Okay.
um, and my dad was a brunette. So, but yeah, my uncle has red hair, but like mine is like the most red of all my family, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
it
I have like
does.
a red pigment, but like mine is like super red.
Right.
And so it was different being like the only redhead in my family because all my cousins were blondes. And
Right.
so they were all older than me, so they always pick on me as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like going through school, there were a lot of redheads in my school district, which I found surprising.
No kidding.
There was one girl who's the same age as me, but we always had classes together, so there was always another redhead.
Good
But
for
like,
you.
yeah, but like going through middle school and stuff was probably the hardest
Yeah.
because the, I don't know, the word ginger, like for me, became like something negative because people called me that more than my own name.
Right.
And so that's when it like started to really get to me. And I actually did dye my hair from red for a couple years because of it.
No shit. What color did you put it?
It was I made it like fake red, like burgundy. I had it
Oh, I
burgundy.
see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it burgundy for a couple years,
Yeah.
and I would say like my freshman and sophomore year of high school, it was burgundy,
Yeah.
and then my
Yeah.
junior year, I started to miss it. Like I really missed like the orange,
Of
um,
course.
and so I slowly got it back. I got a lot of color removal treatments and all kinds of stuff that was very expensive and
Wow.
made me
Yeah.
regret like changing it in the first place. And
Well,
by my
go
yeah
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and by my senior year of high school, I had it back to red.
Awesome. So back to natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you found out how difficult it can be to color, authentic red hair
Yes, it's
to a
so hard to
natural.
get it
Yeah.
back.
It probably costs a lot of money at the same time on product, right? So yeah, it's really interesting. And through this business and through the research that I continue to do on the redhead culture, it amazes me every day how things are just kind of pop into my feed, and I learn new things on a regular basis, and the redhead, and so I want to ask you, like, do you realize, or do you agree that the redhead culture is in fact a culture? Is that something that you've given thought to?
Yeah, I think so. Um, I don't know. It's just because we're so unique and like there's not as many of us as others, I feel like it just makes us like a special little community. Like when I meet another redhead, it's like I've known them forever. I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes any
yeah.
sense. But
and
yeah,
and they probably say the same thing. They're probably like, oh, finally, another redhead, this is awesome, and you have something to talk about right away. So it seems to me that there would be that instant connection just without even knowing the connection is there existing, just due to the nature of what color your hair is, which is super awesome. So and your hair is really kind of, I would say, I can't really, I mean, I'm outside, so it's difficult for me to see.
yeah.
I'm thinking it looks bright red, like it's of the brighter of
Yeah, so
tones
it's
of
more
red.
like a carrot pigment. So like my roots is like
Yeah.
my natural.
That's
And
right.
then I have orange in
Yeah.
my ends currently.
Wild.
Um,
And that's all natural.
yeah, the natural's at the top, but I
Yeah.
added
Yeah.
like a lighter orange in the end
Oh,
to give
I
it
see.
like dimension. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And so tell me then, what do you do for hobbies? Is modeling something that is a hobby of yours, or is that something you just came by and said, I'm going to
Yeah.
keep going with this?
Um so when I was in high school, there's a photographer, a different one that lives close to me.
Yep.
So they mainly specialize in senior photography, so like high
Okay.
school senior. So I interned with them like every summer during high school. And so that's when I started really getting into photography. And so I more started getting into the behind the scenes. So like the lighting and the posing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so by learning lighting and like where to position the light on my face
Yep.
and different poses, I was able to like be a better model, if that makes sense.
It
So when I
does.
started working with like Ginger Cat, it was super easy to like do a session really quick because I knew exactly where to put my face and
Right.
stuff like that. So
So it's more on behind the camera that is the interest. It just so happens that for a few of those shoots, and you've probably had more shoots than just Ginger Cat. I'm assuming that you probably had more sort of modelish style photo sessions
yeah,
prior to that. But I mean, you seem to be a natural at it, so that's why I thought that there'd be a modeling aspiration there that's tucked in the behind the brain, and kind of like it comes out when it comes out, and let's get going. So what what was that session like then? Take me back to the session with Jason and Kat. How did you, when you first, again, I'll go back to, I know you might have answered this already, but when you first saw the company, did you ask it, what was your initial reactions? I mean, I know you kind of said already, well, it's really cool. I wish I had, been looking for a shirt. But do you know what we, how we represent the culture?
I actually do not. So
Yes. I almost preempted that as if you didn't know, but that's okay, because you could have known really fast, and that's fine. And so one of the things I wanted to say is that, as a clothing brand, our clothing becomes secondary to us. What becomes more important for us is our message that we're trying to spread, which is, expressing or exposing the rarity and uniqueness of being a redhead in the world. And I think that, as I'm talking to people blindly, like we are talking right now, although it's not blind, we're face to face in a computerized version. uh it excites us to continue to move forward, to try to expose this rarity, and really, try to put forth a movement, or a code, a special code for redheads, that they feel a sense of belonging, and that they have this originality behind them, and to keep on moving forward with what it is that everyone wants to do. So for us, t-shirts are just the result of the work that we do behind the scenes, and it's people like you that agree to have a conversation with us, that really makes it special. So I mean, it's, when is the last time you've talked to somebody over a computer, or on Messenger, or on Insta Message, or whatever it is, and then the next thing you know, you're having a conversation with them. I mean, it to me, it doesn't happen like that in real life. Like, for
no,
me to say,
yeah.
hey, Em, let's get together for coffee and have a conversation about red hair. I mean, I don't know that would happen like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole, this new COVID thing, and all of a sudden we're having this really connecting conversation on this redhead culture?
Yeah, I think actually it's brought me like to different, like, I feel like opportunities that wouldn't have happened
Yep.
before. So like talking to you, like if I was in college doing my classes, I don't know if I would have been available to do
Got it.
the photo shoot and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, and it allowed me to get a new job that I didn't have before because I wasn't happy in my previous one. And so
Yep.
like giving me the new job and stuff like that.
Right on. That's fantastic, and that's it. It's doing what I hoped it would, which is, it's connecting people, um, in the redhead culture, and that's that kind of makes us proud. My daughters are all redheads. They're proud to watch these videos. We have friends, that are keeping an ear and an eye out for us on when we put out these videos too. And ultimately, I'd love to have 271 million redheads interviewed. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to happen in my lifetime, but since that's the population. But I mean, yeah, it certainly is a unique way, since COVID-19 sort of really came in and put a hold on things. But it allows us to communicate differently, and I like it. It's a non-threatening way of communicating. I think it's unique in itself, which is what I find is intriguing. And I personally like to talk and gab, as you can probably tell. So it gives me an outlet as well, which is always nice. So yeah, so that's great. So is there anything that you can tell us that nobody would really know? Any kind of a special thing that you do that nobody knows, that you want to share, that would be kind of neat? Where are you otherwise? Like, are you?
uh, I don't know. Can't think of anything at the moment.
No.
I think.
Right on.
Yeah.
I see you've got a tattoo there, though.
Yes, it
There you
says
go.
believe in yourself, and then it's lighter and it says be you.
Now that's shit and cool. That's really cool. Is that your own design?
I saw one that had like a, so it's the two different colors
Yeah,
because BE and then YOU. So yeah, uh,
that's
it,
awesome.
I got it when I was in high school, actually, my mom signed for it and she's like, you know what, you can get that. It's like my reminder. And I got it on my left arm because I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like whenever I write or do
Your
anything,
arm is
I just
down.
see it. Yeah.
That's right. That's really cool. Awesome. I want to know what your future plans are once you're done school. Like, what is your ideal? You're doing marketing. You're obviously doing psychology as well. So, how would you look at combining those two? What is your vision after school's over?
Yeah, so recently I did actually for my one of my marketing classes, I did like a research project recently about like consumer trends and stuff like that for a market, which I ended up doing like the cosmetics industry.
Oh, cool.
And so I learned a lot about like all natural cosmetics and like the chemicals and like everything behind it. And so I feel like in the future I'll probably do something more like analyzing the consumer markets, probably for a company,
Nice.
or doing like advertising. I really enjoy like magazines and stuff like that, so it'd be really cool to like work for a publisher or something, some sort, and do like marketing and psych targeting their customer.
Right. So you're gonna probably stay off of or stay away. Like, you're not that you're gonna stay away from, but like the school systems and applying your psychology, your psych into that sort of industry. You're leaning more towards the business industry with the two courses that you're currently taking.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
No.
also have the digital media, which is like
Right.
I'm gonna start learning coding
Yeah.
and stuff like that as well for like actually embedding advertisements into websites possibly in the future as
Awesome.
well.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. The world needs more of you out there. That's
Yeah,
for
it's definitely an interesting combination. And like when I've talked to like employers about internships, a lot of people don't have like that study business, they don't study the psych as well. And so I've always said that in order to sell to a person, you have to know how people work in the first place. And that's why I chose to study psych.
That's
Because I
amazing.
find it really interesting, like how the brain works.
Yeah, yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck on that too, because I think it's something that you're absolutely right. You know, even in our business, we can see people visiting our website, but we can't understand why they decide to purchase or why they decide not to purchase. And to understand that gives you a better opportunity to go ahead and fix the problem, which is people are coming to the site, but not enough people are purchasing. You kind of have to take it back to the root. And once you have that root solved, or at least you're close to what you feel it is, then you can start working on that problem. So it's really interesting that you're saying that. I'm doing an online course. Well, not an online course. I'm doing a very in-depth course on that exact situation, which I find really, really interesting. And I'm assuming you would find it really, really interesting as well, just because it deals with the exact same thing you're talking about, understanding what the customer wants. But why? But not just that, but why? Why are they choosing to do this, and why are they choosing to do something different? So I'm really excited for you, because that would get me jazzed up if I was going through college, taking that combination. Like, that's really, really cool. That's a good one. Yeah, and you're obviously happy with that choice that
Yeah,
you've made. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
it was a long time coming, like trying to, because they say everybody changes their major like twice.
Yeah,
So I started general business, and then but like my whole life, I've basically been starting with the internship with the photographers. I've basically been doing marketing, but like I didn't call it that.
right.
So when I finally took the course, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I started like getting it really easy. And like my professor, I had talked to him about it because my school is a smaller school. So our class size is about 25. And so like we really get the personal experience with our professor.
Right.
And so I've ended up having him twice now for marketing. And so I just recently took consumer behavior, which is
Cool.
that
Yep.
really focused in on like the consumer and like the motivations and stuff behind what they will buy and what they won't, which I was probably one of my favorite courses I've taken, but it was also the
Yeah.
hardest.
Right.
Um,
Right.
it was a lot of reading and a lot of projects.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of reading, what's the last book you read?
I actually have a Redhead book.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it.
I'm gonna move my umbrella again.
I don't know where it is, but I have this book. It's called Red. It's
Yep.
by an author named Allison Cherry. It's like a fictional novel about a town that is all redheads.
No way.
But there's this one girl in the town that dyes her hair red to fit in with these redheads, and it's really interesting. I actually
Cool.
love the book. I'm gonna see if I
I
can.
want to see the cover. Oh well, you'll get it maybe. Maybe you won't.
Yeah, let me go see if I can find it real quick.
Okay, sounds good. In the meantime, I'll just talk to myself and ask myself some questions. See if there's. I can tell you it's really hot out here in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, which is where I'm at right now, on the east coast of Canada. It's about 28 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. And we usually don't get this hot weather at this time of year. It's usually a bit more chilly than this in May. But we've been lucky for the last few days with some amazing summer sunshine. So that's why I decided to do this interview outside today. Normally, as I said earlier, I'm inside. But
I don't think I can find it. I moved around my room and I had a set of books.
Oh well. That's all good. We've got the title anyway. We know it's titled Red.
I can look it up on my phone. It was just a bunch of shades of red hair was the title.
Okay. So as you're looking that up, tell me about your Instagram account. So what a lot of people I talk to, I find through Instagram, and then of course it just naturally it morphs into these conversations. But there's a lot of stuff on your Instagram account. Do you like the direction it's going? Is it something you've put some time and thought into?
Yeah, so I changed the structure of it
Okay.
recently. So I am actually in a few group chats on Instagram.
Yeah.
With other people that are starting to become influencers, and so we just we share
Right.
our posts with them to help with engagement, and then we ask a lot of the girls, I can ask them questions about so I'm having this issue, I'm losing followers, what do you suggest I do? And sometimes they'll give me good advice, and I'll be able to gain 30 followers and stuff like that.
Right. So is that what you want from your Instagram account? Is that something that you wanna sort of push forward on? Do you have an interest to gain that engagement, get those followers up? Where do you want it to go from here?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to build a following for now. I've always wanted to start a blog or something, so
Okay.
I'm wanting to get a good foundation on Instagram before I start something like that.
Yep.
I've always wanted to do something like that as that sense.
Right.
But for now, I'm just trying to build following, and I'm actually in these engagement chats with these other girls that are in college.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are starting YouTube channels and starting blogs, and so we're just giving each other advice on how to do those types of things, and we comment on each other's posts to help with engagement and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's a nice little group, and we talk in there every day. And
That's
so
fantastic. Yeah.
So I learned a lot about presets, if you know what those are.
No, tell me.
So presets are so they use Adobe Lightroom, which is
Oh, yes.
yeah. So they're
mean-
it's a color filter you put on all your pictures.
Yeah.
And so it makes them all look the same color. So when you have it in your feed looks cohesive.
I see.
And so, yeah, I learned a lot about those through those girls, and I actually was able to get one. And so I recently applied it to my last 2 posts. And so
I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah, start transitioning my feed to being that color, because before I did stripes. So I would post photos in 3s to have some kind of theme to it.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen that a little bit before, and I think it's great. And I think again, where you're going with your theme, with the new theme, those last 2 photos, especially the last photo, is fantastic. I'll just put it up on the screen just so that anyone who's reading this, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can slightly see it. Yeah.
yeah. It's a little sunny here, so it's hard. But that's that. Yeah, and I'm gonna put your, if you don't mind, I'll put your Instagram name up in the corner. Once I edit this video too, and you'll have it there so people can click through and have a look at your feed as well. So but I see what you mean. It's certainly going to brighten up your entire feed, and it'll be cohesive all the way through. So, and that last shot, by the way, is a really great shot. It was a really, really,
Yeah,
really,
I tried that mirror trend that people have
yeah,
been doing.
yeah,
Yeah. So I'm just starting to do like trends that
cool.
other people are doing to try and like, because before I would run out of ideas and like what to post, but now I have like a running list in my notes of like post ideas.
Oh,
Um,
fantastic! Look,
yeah.
you're ahead of the curve. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
I'm trying to be because I have more time to like devote it to that
Right.
now. And
Good for you. That's awesome. We started doing something similar. On our posts, I really like the lettering that I have. I use Canva for a lot of my posts, and I've been putting lettering on them recently, I've been like the way it looks. I mean, I hope it comes across that way to other people as well. But I know I see your point with trying to have a cohesive feed, because you go on other people's feeds and you can really see them, and you start looking at them and you go, well, wow, there's a theme here, and the theme is a pink tone, or what you said, stripes. There's three. I haven't seen many. I think I've seen one or two others, and I'm on Instagram quite a bit too. So I mean, certainly not posting as much as I should be. I always struggle with what to post, and so you already have a list of things that you want to post, or
yeah,
things you want to go. So that's fantastic. So yeah, so it sounds like I think you're on the right track. I mean, I love the idea of building a following now, and once you have that following, and once your engagement rate is doing its thing, and people are engaging, I mean, it's sky's the limit from there. You have them in your funnel. Now you can expand into, a YouTube channel, and they'll go over there and follow you there, and you're going to do different things there, and blog, and so on and so forth. So I think that's the trend in how to from what I read on how to move forward in social media. So good on you for all of that, and plus you're getting studied on a regular basis on it as well. So
yeah.
it's a combination you have going on, which is perfect. Do you have any questions for me?
Um,
I love answering questions. I should
so
tell you that ahead of time.
yeah, when did you start the Authentic Ginger?
Yeah, we started in 2018. I tell a story a lot. My daughters, we asked them one time in the house to draw some pictures of creatures that they could think of, and one of our daughters, which is our eldest, and by eldest she's 9, she drew an interesting dinosaur that had a unicorn head to it, and we thought, great, you know what, it would be really cool to have their drawings on t-shirts, and we'll keep them authentic as far as how they're drawn. That's what we won't doctor them up, we won't edit them, we'll just keep them that way. And then we'll put them on shirts, and we'll take them to boutiques and different kids shops, and try to to sell them and whatnot. But and we thought it was a great idea, and the kids loved it. The only problem was, at the time, we didn't really have a name for it yet, and so I said to my wife Sheba at one point, I said, I think maybe we should have a brand first, and then we'll launch a collection of the kids' t-shirts under that brand name. And that's when we decided on all of our kids. I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters under the age of 10, and then I have a son who's 21. And so they all have red hair. So naturally, we wanted to have a name that had red hair somehow attached to it. And we didn't mind the word ginger. I want to go back to that in a minute too with you. So we decided on Authentic Ginger because authentic drawings, they were redheads, we called it ginger. And then clothing, for obvious reasons. So Authentic Ginger Clothing was the name, and we started researching and found a shit ton of redhead festivals around the world that you can attend, and that's when I started doing a lot of research to realize that our mission was more than just t-shirts. And that's when I realized that, very short time after we started, I realized we're in this for a different reason altogether than just selling t-shirts, because we want our kids to, all 3 of our daughters have red hair. So and my son does too. But we wanted them to we want them to grow up with red hair and be original and be empowered with what they have as far as their body, and everything else. So it was a good way for us to understand the culture, and here we are today talking to someone like you
Yeah.
out of the blue, which is again totally phenomenal. So so that's how we kind of started, and from there we're just building from here. And this YouTube channel is a piece of our building block. And then we have a blog on the go as well, which is more like stories from other redheads around the world. Ultimately, I'd love to be able to put something together where the funnel that we're building, the collection of people that we're building, we can all come together as one somewhere in some country and do something amazing. I don't know what that looks like yet, but that's something that is in the far future for us. But it's a dream at this point.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to like one of those festivals.
I know.
It's actually funny. So my birthday is actually Love Your Red Hair Day.
Oh, come on.
So the November 5th is my
Yes.
birthday. And so
Fantastic.
it's, yeah, every year it's
Wow.
always funny seeing that's my birthday. So
Yeah, 100%. Good stuff. So you don't like the word ginger. So tell me a little about is that because you said it was a negative connotation?
yeah, so
You're
in middle school it was for me, but like over time I've learned to like love it. It's
Yeah.
like an adjective that describes me, but it's like
Okay.
a positive one.
So
now.
you would wear you're not going to you wouldn't have an issue wearing um, a shirt or any kind of apparel that just had the word ginger on it, like you're.
No, not today. I wouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years back might be a different story.
Yeah.
That's right. Awesome. Well, that's great. Look, I'm learning a lot from you. I've learned a lot from you, from the experiences that you've had, which is great. And I love the direction that you're going with your education. Yeah, you're onto something really good there. It's good. That's going to be really fantastic. What I always do last, before we wrap things up, is just to kind of ask your opinion on I can always forget how I arrange this question. Someone comes up to you and says, I hate my hair color. It's red hair. You know what? Maybe it doesn't even have to be red hair. It could be any color hair. You've had experiences. What are you saying to that person?
Yeah. So I would because my reason I didn't like my hair was because other people didn't like it. And
Right.
so I would first make sure that it was truly them that didn't like it and
Okay.
not the influence of others.
Yep.
Because I have friends who are blondes, but they hate their shade of blonde, if they make sense. So they make it lighter,
Right.
or something like that. So I would just, ask them, why don't you like it? And then if they can, if the answer doesn't involve them, then clearly they still like it. And make sure the influences of other people don't cloud what they like themselves.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're you, and you're the only person that can truly decide like what's best for you.
Right. Man, your psych is coming out now.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I actually write a lot of like poetry and stuff, and that's why I get into
yeah, there's the nugget I was looking for.
Yeah, so like I write poetry in my phone, or
Sweet.
that was a line from one of my poems that just came out. That was funny.
See, now look at that. I managed to get it out of you. It took us almost 45 minutes, but I managed to get it out of you.
Yeah.
So you do writing then. You're a writer as well.
Yeah, so like sometimes I write songs or poems, or that's why blogging would be a like aspiration for me, because I do like to write. Like that's another thing I like to do.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Man, that's your life is shaping up. A lot going on. It's really interesting. You think you know somebody by a photograph.
Yes.
But it's not always what you think. And I'm not saying that I had this thought, but it's really interesting to see somebody in a photograph and then your mind wonders what this person is going to be like. You know, like it's a natural thing we do as humans. I mean, it's just what it is. I always love uncovering things just like that, like you know, and I'm not a, you know, I don't have any experience in doing interviews or having these kind of conversations the way and the style that we're doing it. But I certainly love uncovering things like that because it just keeps building that character. Like, you know, which is something that I feel that we're built on as a company is character, and we, you know, carrying on this ethos that we have is really important. So that's really fascinating, that you have all these facets of outlets that you can utilize and use. I mean, there must be 5 altogether, I think, if I count correctly, but I might be wrong on the number. But point is that, you know, you have so many different outlets. But one thing is for sure, everything comes down into what you're getting training and education on, which I think is amazing. So congratulations on that. I think it's fantastic. And I also want to thank you for taking the time to photograph in our clothing, because it's very special to us. It's very important to us. You didn't have to do that, so you did that, and so
Yeah.
I really really appreciate that. And I think you have a shirt on its way. I think it's been mailed out. I'm pretty sure it has been. So
Okay.
when it does,
Awesome.
yeah, when it does, hopefully we'll do another quick, maybe Jason and Kat can do a iPhone photo session, a virtual one. Have you heard what they're doing with those?
Yes, yeah.
That's so
They
cool.
actually they live not too far from me, like
Oh,
maybe 15
okay.
minutes. Yeah.
Right on. All right, maybe we'll get a picture of the 3 of you guys together, and so we'll figure something fun out that we can
Yeah.
share on our Instagrams, and you can do your new preset on that, and
Yeah.
whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
and I have a lot of like if I wear it to school, have a lot of redheads on my campus, so it'd probably be like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" So,
Amazing. Yeah, let's
yeah.
make that happen. And if you have a couple of people that you hang out with that are redheads, and let me know, and I'll throw them a shirt too, and you guys can all start wearing them. Be
Yeah,
amazing.
of course.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else for me, I think I've learned it all today.
Yeah, it was great talking with you. I
Yes.
learned a lot about myself actually.
Yeah. That's good. I'm going to take that as a compliment, as one of my prime broadcasting moments. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's been great talking to you. This will happen again. I can assure you, it's been fun chatting with you. Fun to meet you out of the blue. I love it. It's a really cool thing that we're doing, and I mean, me and you, not just me and the company, but you and I are doing right now. So I think it's really cool. But yeah, thanks so much, and have yourself a great start to the weekend.
Yeah, you as well.
All right. Thanks, Emily. You'll hear from me soon.
All right.
All right.
Look
Take
forward
care.
to
Have a good
it.
day. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.